To that breaking news that we heard earlier this morning, 4 a.m. This incident began, as far as we can ascertain, still very much in development. 3 people have died and 1 man in custody who is arrested. Live pictures from the scene as we speak in Nottingham. Many parts of the city centre, of course, are still closed off as that investigation continues. Our reporter Rosie Wright is with us in the studio just to get the latest on this. Rosie, very much still developing, of course, more information coming out almost by the moment.
Yeah, the police are keen to stress at the very early stages of the investigation, but they've been hunting out information as early as 4 a.m. We've had eyewitnesses and residents saying that from 5 o'clock in the morning, they were having people knock on the door, police saying, look, what do you know? Just in the last sort of half an hour or so, we're seeing developments from armed police. The cordon that's already extensive in Nottingham is being expanded. The Press Association here reporting that armed police appeared to rush to a separate location further down the road. This is where the white van is that's the subject of significant interest, quickly cordoning off the adjourning now Foster Street. There's an extensive area that the police are searching, and we can see, of course, their forensics on the scene at multiple sites. To give you sort of an idea of the scale, this all started at Ilkeston Road, and armed officers, some wearing balaclavas, could be seen in the last half an hour or so on Ilkeston Road, a few hundred yards above the main cordon. They appeared there to enter a sort of commercial property on the street with 2 young women eventually put in the back of a marked car. We don't know the details of exactly what's been ongoing there, but a number of unmarked police vehicles also carrying armed officers eventually then left that section of the road and it was cordoned off. That's Ilkeston Road, where we learnt of the very first part of what has been an absolutely catastrophic day. Police were called to Ilkeston Road just after 4 a.m. when eyewitnesses called police. People who'd been sleeping with the windows open because it's so hot said they heard blood-curdling screams. They could see someone on foot stabbing victims on the street. Officers were then called to another incident in Milton Street, where a van there had attempted to run over 3 people. Those 3 people, we still don't know the gravity of their conditions. They're being treated in hospital. A further man was then found dead in Magdala Road. We're talking about a wide area of Nottingham. There's about a mile between each of these locations that I'm mentioning to you. At about 5:30, eyewitnesses say they saw this driver of a van deliberately hit people. He was then arrested, the 31-year-old man, arrested on suspicion of murder. He remains in police custody. The police making it very clear this is a horrific and tragic incident, but say, please, can the public be patient with us while our investigations continue? They say a number of roads in the city are going to remain closed across the day as the investigation progresses. And we do know that the Prime Minister was briefed on this early this morning. Number 10 said that Rishi Sunak and also the Home Secretary, Suella Braverman, who've not only expressed their gratitude towards the emergency services, but have expressed heartfelt condolences to the victims and their families. Rishi Sunak said he had been updated. The Prime Minister's official spokesman said Mr Sunak was informed about the incidents early this morning. He's being kept up to date on the latest developments here. But what we just heard from Times Radio's Ollie Cole, who's on the ground now in Nottingham, is just the sort of horror percolating around the city, which feels really strange because, of course, public transport ground to a halt, cars aren't driving around, and lots of people just sort of sharing information because at this point, details of exactly what happened and, crucially, why, we've got no details at all whatsoever on the motive of this one suspect, why it happened. You know, people just sharing sentiments with each other, saying, you know, are you OK? What have you heard? As people sort of coming to terms with absolute tragedy this morning.